right, I'm just gonna wait for a couple of people to join the live. But Moozlie is already here. Hi,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You're looking very pretty.
Thank you. So are you?
Girl,
I
I
like
can.
the orange.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I see you outside.
Definitely fun. Say that again.
You're outside and enjoying the sun.
I am golden glow, you know.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for joining me on the Soundbar Museum. I really appreciate this.
It's all good, man. No wahala.
Happy Women's Month.
Thank you. Happy Women's Month to you too. And
Thank you
to
so much.
all the ladies watching.
Thank you to everybody who's in this live. This is a soundbar where I'm speaking to my favorite artists from all around the country. And yeah, today we have the one and only, the queen of Moozlie. She is a media personality, a musician. I don't want to box you and say you're a rapper. You're a musician and businesswoman.
That would be me.
So how are you doing? How's everything going?
I'm good right now in this moment. I'm good. I'm great. But you know, it's really up and down. Like most of the time I'm okay. Like generally I'm good. But some
Yeah.
moments like super shit and I'm like frustrated and I'm just hating everything. And other times I'm just like on a high and things are amazing and God is coming through for me and I'm just like, wow, I
Yeah.
can't believe this is my life. So it's a lot of this right now. But right now I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Do you think you having these roller coasters because of we're like in this pandemic?
Totally. 110%. I mean, when I think about 2020, I think I've been looking forward to 2020 since I was like, I don't know, since I was a kid. Just that number, 2020, it just
Yeah.
sounded like some, I don't know, like some crazy shit was going to
Yeah.
happen. And genuinely it did, but not the way that I thought it would. But yeah, I always say to people like 2020 is the year that Beyonce has been living in her whole entire life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we finally were blessed with the opportunity to join her in 2020. And yeah, it's been insane.
It showed everyone playing. I can only imagine what you're going through because you're an artist, you rely on bookings and and moving around all around the country. So being stuck at home is crazy. I can only imagine
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, you know what? Also, like beyond that, like as much as Moozlie is the person who does the lives and is getting the shine and on the stage and doing the videos, whatever the case may be, hip hop in particular really is a team sport. You know, we rely a lot on people. We rely a lot on collaboration. We rely a lot on contact too. You know what I mean? So it's been really, really challenging, and like the knock-on effects that it has had has just been insane.
Would you say you've been creating music during this lockdown? Because besides from being home and doing these lives, you've been productive. We're seeing you dropping, music. You've collaborated with a couple of people. You have a song right now by Sadie that's out. You did the track on Design, Python. I think the video is coming in weeks. You have your Blanco sessions. I make sure you've been watching the Blanco sessions, and I must say everything is impeccable. The production, I mean, your style, the sound is clean.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we really, you know what? We have just been doing whatever we can, where we can, in the best way that we can, you know? And we've also had to just be able to reconcile when some things are just out of our control and we just can't make it happen the way that we want to. As a team, we've been able to become okay with things like that. In the past, it really used to frustrate us, and it would probably make us even like not want to do other things that are in our control simply because we're frustrated about something else. So we've definitely just been doing our best to try to keep it pushing. I know some people are trying to be like spiritual about it and like just go into themselves and just wait until things get back to normal before they can do whatever it is that they do. Unfortunately, that's not the way that I'm built. That's not how I'm wired. And yeah, so I've been in studio. I was actually lucky enough to be able to collaborate with Casa Light this year. And oh, excuse me, the way that we set up the deal is that I actually got a whole studio from the deal that I did with them, you know. So I got brand new equipment, like insane sound card, brand new mic for the studio, brand new performance mic. We got like a iMac, that's what it's called, like an iMac. Yeah, so I was blessed to be able to set myself up to be able to create regardless of what's happening, you know. And a lot of people, and they don't have that because they recorded other people, and no girls especially. I don't know why it is. I just pray that like young girls that are coming up in the game can just teach themselves how to be technically unlocked and just know your way around the studio, be able to engineer yourself, know what plugin works for your voice, know all those things. Because I feel like, you know, from like my generation of girls and upwards, we really just relied on the fact that like, yeah, we bosses and we write our own bars. Like there's a lot more to music than just writing your own bars, you know what I mean? So I'm really grateful that I have my own setup here at home that has just allowed me to not only work on my own music, but I've been able to collaborate with other people, and I've just been able to work on my live show so that by the time they open outside,
It's all
like genuinely, yeah.
I think to just touch on young girls not being able to tap into those spaces, it's mainly because I feel like there aren't really space for young girls to create, you know, to like produce music and be behind the scenes instead of being on stage, you know. I think we need more. I think that's
Yeah,
one.
definitely. I think also just environments are not as safe to learn for girls as it is for boys, you know. I think about a person like Yanga and his story and how he used to sleep on people's couches, and you know, one day he'd be at Slicker's house and the next day he'd be at Sugar Smack's house or whoever could take him in, you know what I mean? Like as a girl, you can't really do that. Like, you know, you can't like beyond the fact that you can't even like really just trust people and stuff. Like as girls, you know, like we have to look after ourselves in a different way. There's a particular point in a month where you need to just be sleeping in your own bed. Like you can't just be sleeping on people's couches because you know what I mean? Like there's just things that happen to us as girls. So and it's expensive. Like if you are probably 15 or 16 years old and you have an interest, you're like, wow, Moozlie's cool. Maybe I don't want to be a rapper, but I want to be a producer. And you talk to your parents about it and you're like, okay, I'm going to need a sound card, a laptop, a microphone, and some programs on that laptop. Even a start-up studio setup is not cheap.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. So that's why you kind of have to rely on people who do have those setups, and then you're on their time. So yeah, it just gets a little bit crazy, you know, and it's not as easy for girls as it is for guys, for sure. But what is great is that we have the internet. So I know you have to practice the craft in order to get better at it. But I think it's important that you at least unlock your mind in the beginning. Just go look up like Pro Tools, how to use Pro Tools, how to use Fruity Loops, how to use, you know, all these things. Like teach yourself so that by the time you are in these situations, you actually know, you know, a little bit more, and you're not relying on people to make it happen for you. I think that's what happens a lot, especially in this industry. You kind of wait for a plug, a manager, as somebody who's going to come into your life and just unlock you. And that's not really how it works out.
I think things are changing. You know, the internet with more women in these spaces who are fucking shit. So I think things are changing, and I'm very optimistic that things will be different in the
Yeah.
next the music scene will just be dominated by females who are really fucking shit up.
For sure, for sure. I think when it comes to writing music, girls are very superior. When I think about people like Lady Zamar, when I think about people like Shekinah, when I think about people like Rouge, myself,
Yeah.
Tabzi, like incredible writers, like we will write you a story. But I'm excited about this next generation that's coming in. People like Indigo Stella, people like Hannah, people like Faith. There's a producer from Cape Town. Her name is Faith, if I'm not mistaken. She produces for like Youngster CPT. She's a part of that whole movement. So like the girls that are coming in, they get it. They're like, we don't want to wait for these boys to come and record us. Like, we're gonna make these beats. We're gonna engineer ourselves. I mean, I did a record with Indigo Stella, and she's mixing it herself. She's like sending me drafts of a mix. I'm like,
Hold on.
okay, do your thing then, girl. You know, so I'm personally very inspired and motivated by things like that.
What keeps you motivated to create more music? You know, because we know you from TV more than anything, and I think a lot of people still box you into that life, that she's a media personality, she's not really a musician. You know, so what keeps you going? What keeps you wanting to create more music?
A couple of things really. One, I am very aware of the fact that there's a lot to learn in music, and anytime there's more to learn, there's more interesting things to find out. And for me, I'm just really interested in like learning more about how far I can take this thing and how much more I can learn, you know. And I'm always just getting better and better and better with every verse, with every song that I do. I just get better, so that definitely motivates me. I'm also motivated by the fact that although people really know me as a television personality, I haven't felt really at home in television in a very long time. So, you know what it's like. If you think about being a person from like Cape Town or Durban or wherever you're from, you come to Joburg to do a job and home is far. So you have no choice. You have to make it work where you are. So
Yeah.
that definitely motivates me a lot. Like I know that TV is not what it used to be when I first started, and it's changing all the time. So I can't just always rely on that, you know. So that definitely motivates me. Also, ngiyazazi ukuthi like nginja. You know what I mean? Like ngiyanyisa. Like the game needs me.
And
Like
Yanyisa, honestly, like Yanyisa, you came into the game when no one expected it. Like we all didn't expect it, and you killed it. Like
yeah.
I remember when you were like part of this kind of world, this kind of team, and you were this kind of queen.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people are just shocked, and you've been bringing it. You've been very consistent over the years. Your sound is also evolving. How would you describe your sound in 2020?
Ooh, my sound in 2020 is, I think definitely as an artist, I personify South African hip hop in the sense that I really try to tell local stories about what's actually happening around me, whether
Yeah.
it be hanging out in the north or whether it be being from a Davidson. I really try to just tell my actual real life stories. In terms of an actual sound, it's like a real combination between like classic boom bap, like head bopping type of raps,
Yeah.
and then the Kwaito South African, you know, that kasi rap kind of a style. So I'm trying to merge those worlds together, because as much as I think it's important for us to be as South African as possible, when it comes to hip hop, there are the basics. The
Yeah.
ba 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 ba
Yeah.
ba.
Yeah.
But like you have to be able to cross that bridge. Like before you can get to being wavy and giving us melodies and
Yeah.
like trying to finesse something that you barely know anything about, I think it's important to just go to those basics. And I've used those times this time rather to take me back to like classic rap, like just rapping on a beat, but also always influenced by South African music, especially the 90s. I listen to a lot of Boom Shaka. I listen to Lebo Mathosa, Brenda
Yeah,
Fassie. I
yeah.
listen to TKZ. Like, that's my vibe.
I think we can hear that from your music. You know, you definitely have that South African influence in your music. What's your music process? Like when you're creating a song, what do you do? Like how do you go about that process?
Oh, I think because I have a background where I wasn't always a musician, I'm very conscious, like about writing and making sure I come across a particular way. So I'm not like other people in studio. Like I know Keenan in particular, he'll just be in studio and just trying things out loud and just being like, okay, that doesn't work. Let's do something else. Developing ideas like out loud.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I'm getting used to. I'm very shy. I think it's just because of the way that I learned how to write and stuff like that. So I'm really, I hear the beat and I allow the beat makers and the producers to do their thing. You know, even now when I work with producers, I'm always just like, although you're not on the song, I need you to sound like you're on the song. Like
Mm,
even I'm a Star that I did with Zuchi Coke Dope.
yeah.
You can feel him on the track. He's not on the song, but he's there. And it's because beyond just making the beat, he directed me. He really worked on the vocals and made sure they sounded the way that I heard them in my head. So I really take direction really well. It might be because I come from a television background, but I love to be in studio where, people have ideas and suggestions and they're like, why don't you try it like this? Why don't you do it like that? Positively though, don't act like a know-it-all. Nigga, I don't need you. But I really am open to that. But I just love to hear a beat, sit, write, and then get on the mic and do my thing. And sometimes it's magical and you get it in that one take. But
Yeah.
sometimes what I like to do is I write, I record, sit with the song for a couple of days. I listen to it in my car. I just get super comfortable with it. And then I come back and like record it in one take. And it just sounds like butter.
How long do you take? Like have you ever sit on a song for like more than a month?
Yeah, I'm actually more of a on the spot kind of a guy. Like if I have to sit with something for too long, I think about it for too long. Like,
Thing.
yeah, overthink.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't like this, I like this, or whatever. It's usually when I'm like get in the studio, I'm like, okay, cool, the engineer's in the chair. People are like, they came to the session, like now I have to record. And sometimes I'll even write like probably 12 and while I'm recording, I'll get the last four and it'll come to me. Like sometimes I won't even write the last line before I start recording because it just comes to me. Like it just comes to me as it's going. So yeah.
Are you comfortable with people in the studio, or are you like one of those people who are like, you know what? I gotta be alone. I just have to be with the engineer and the producer. Everybody did.
I'm comfortable with people in the studio. I think the more I make music, the more I become aware of people's energies. So
Mm,
sometimes you just like you want people around who are going to come with the right energy. But I
mm.
think I just come from a school of there's always going to be people around. And for me, it was never just people. It was like people who were like at the top of the game and knew what the fuck they were doing. Like imagine your first studio session, there's KO and my E.
Yo, bring it. I
Are you
wanna
going to be shy? And then when somebody else walks in, it's Mugs. And then when somebody else walks in, it's Kid X. It's like,
I can only imagine. I can only
you
imagine.
know? It's like that. And then also like so after I left Cash Time, I really had to find myself in other places. So I'd spend a lot of time recording with Hope Master, and that was at Cool Out in town.
Mm-hmm.
And that like sometimes there'd be a party outside while we're recording inside, and some people would just jump in and come and check. Reason would always be there. Instro, Hope's brother would always be there. P Kada and whoever was working in the office would always be there. So there was that. And then where I really learned that let me tell you, whether it's a party, whether there are lots of people, you better get in the booth and do your thing, was Les. Like, Les loves to have a party when he records. Like, his studio is always a vibe. There's
Yeah.
hardly, there's drinks, beautiful girls, like cool dudes. And there again, it's always an environment of people who just came to hang out and party, and people who know things like an Altido, a Delays, DJ D Double D, people who can like help you and instruct you and stuff. So, yeah, I'm pretty chilled with having people around. But I know there are some people who aren't into that at all. Like I heard from Callistic, he actually even records himself. Like everybody has to get out and he records himself. Which I think is great and exciting and amazing to do. But I really rely a lot on collaboration, energy, and like I say, I love direction. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you don't even hear it, but you're enunciating a word wrong. Because as much as I'm from the hood, I also went to private school. So sometimes I'll be like, Izinja, but it's Izinja. Do you know what I mean? So it's always great to have somebody there in studio who
Yeah.
can just be like, Shaya so or
Yeah.
Yabo. I
Yeah.
think it helps. And it's always in those moments, like when people hear the songs, they'll always be like, yo, Kona le part, oh Shaya so. And you're like, dude, that wasn't my idea. And if that person wasn't there, I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't have gotten to this. So I actually quite enjoy having people around. But I like having people who first of all like me, like my music, and they want to see me do better. They want to see me grow. Those are always the best kind of people to have around.
So you spoke about I'm a Star, which is your single that you dropped this year. When you dropped it, I was so happy. Because last time we heard from you was from Victory. You dropped your album in 2018, Victory, which was amazing. It was your first day album. You killed it. So what's happening? Are you going to be dropping this year, or what can we expect?
That's I mean, I've been saying like 2020 has been so hectic that I'm not gonna plan anything. I'm just gonna let God tell me what needs to be done. But I would be lying if I said I'm not listening to a whole lot of songs, trying to see which song fits where. I mean, I kind of presented the idea to like Smuda and you know that I want to put out a project this year, whether it's an EP or a mixtape, but I really want to put out a project. So he has given me his professional opinion of like, okay, maybe if we can get a couple more songs like this. So he's helping me now connect the dots to finish whatever it is, but still no dates, not too certain on a name, haven't decided if it's going to be a mixtape
Or an
or like
album?
2 or 3 different EPs because there's different vibes. And I feel like if I'm going to do an EP, I really want it to be an experimental project where I just go like full into the character. So I have obviously Griselda Blanco, Moozlie, and Young Mabr. So sometimes I'm like, maybe I can do like the Griselda Blanco EP, which is like 5 tracks of just like hectic hip hop rap vibes, and then do a Young Mapr EP where it's just like 5 tracks of like kwaito and just like dope South African vibes. Then other times I'm like, maybe I can do like all of them together because my first mixtape was called Versus. So maybe I do Versus 2 where it's like Blanco versus Young
Yeah.
Mapr.
Yeah.
I don't know, like it's all genuinely like I'm just having all these ideas. I'm thinking out loud, sharing them with people, and what's meant to be will be. That's what I know.
I'm excited to see what's next, honestly. The Blanco sessions, what inspired that? Why did you do that?
Oh, Blanco Sessions was mainly inspired by the fact that it's closed outside and we can't go outside and people can't come and watch us perform. And we spend a lot of time indoors, me, Smuda, and my engineer, mixed by Lucci. We love to watch performances, whether it's on Tidal, because Tidal literally has all like live performances of the biggest acts made in America and stuff like that. We love to
Shout out
watch that.
to Idol, dog. Shout out to
Yeah, we love to also watch
I did
Tiny
for
Desk
my music subscription.
performances.
It's like I think we need to start supporting Black owned businesses. Everything Black owned, we need to support that. So shout out to Tidal for that.
Yeah, man, Tidal is really dope and they have a lot of amazing content. Also, the quality of mixing and mastering, I didn't know this. My engineer actually told me about this. When you look at songs on Tidal, if it's like, if you look at it, there's like a little M. If the song has that M, just know it's rocking, like it's knocking hard, mix and master to the highest level. So like Tidal is really dope. So we like watching that. We also like watching Tiny Desk. We like watching, like we watched Adele the other day, like obviously Drake. We like watching, we like watch Migos. And we like always just watching performances. Like it's always what we do because we really want to work hard to make sure that I sound the same way on track that I do at a live show, you know. So we watch a lot of that, and that definitely like inspired me. Also, we got all the new equipment that is just making me sound like. So we're like, hey man, let's put it together. Also, what was really great about that is that I was able to collaborate not only like with my engineer Lucci, who's like running my microphone and just making sure that that sounds amazing. We also had Scales, who played keys and like added such dope touches to my music, which I'm obsessed with already, but he just like took it to a whole nother level. And then also we were able to collaborate with Nonna Events, who like obviously the name says it all. She's an events company. She puts together these dope experiences, but for her, as much as my business has been rocked, so has hers. So she's trying to express herself in cool, different, interesting, unique ways. So she helped me create this. We actually called it the Garden of New Sing. Like, Garden of Eden. We called it the Garden of New Sing. Like, so she just put it together. I mean, she even bought me a baby grand piano, which I was just like, lady, you are so dramatic, but I love it, you know? So that was cool. And then we also got to collaborate with Nice Productions. PJ shot it for us, really, really amazing. And then we had OK Majosi and Mulwandle come in and assist and do stills for us. So big collaboration. And it's just inspired by things that we are watching, things that we are viewing. So I think it's important. Like, I watch trash TV. I love trash TV. I love like reality and like just trash. But it's so important, like what you consume, because it will really, really influence you and can help you grow as a person. So yeah, it's just been inspired by everything that we've been consuming lately.
Talking about what's going on lately, actually, I saw your tweet in the morning about your frustrations of what's going on in our country with the rise of gender-based violence and our justice system failing us. What are your views?
That is a fucking shit show, babe. Like, it's really, really bad. And I think sometimes it's like quite difficult for me. I mean, a lot of time people think, well, you guys have a platform, you should just be speaking out, you guys should be using your platform or whatever. And it's like, well, before I have a platform, I have a black female life that I need to try and protect. You know what I mean? So sometimes that's what we're doing. We're also just trying to deal with the humanness of being who it is that we are before we can get to feeling super vocal and writing open letters. And like, there are some people who just express themselves so beautifully in those spaces. And I think it's amazing. But unfortunately, some of us were not all like that, you know. Like I'm way better at expressing myself in terms of like business and in terms of like hip hop culture and stuff like that. But I'm a black woman living in South Africa. I feel the struggle every single day. I know what it's like. And I've always felt so positive. Maybe it's because I'm born in 1992. But I always just felt so positive about, wow, I'm from South Africa. I'm born free. There's so many endless opportunities. And I can be whoever I want to be.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that these days. Like, I really don't feel like that these days. And I don't feel like our leaders are doing anything to try and, you know, make it better. I think what actually irritated me this morning was Natim Tetwa's tweet for Elaine. Like, nigga, shut the fuck up. Like, just shut up. Like, don't do that. You're just irritating us. You're patronizing us. It's just, they don't care. Like, when I think about the fact that I haven't been working the whole year and there wasn't even one time where like the department or the government or anyone just said, wow, Moozlie, you're going through the most. Bamba. Make sure you can at least put yourself together. It's like you either have to be super duper broke and dead or like super duper rich to be anyway. Like if you're like in this middle where you're just young and coming up and figuring yourself out, it's just like figure yourself out. Do you know? And I actually nearly tweeted this as well, but like I stopped because I was like, I do have a platform, so I need to make sure that even if I'm personally frustrated, I'm not spreading the wrong things. But personally, for me, I am wondering if I'm going to vote when the next elections come.
You know what? It's tricky, you know, Moozlie, because no matter how many times we express ourselves, we go marching. I don't know how many marches I've been to this year, yet alone. I don't know how many conversations I have with friends, and just I try where I can. Nothing is being done, and it's so frustrating. You know, so I understand your frustrations where you're like, you don't even know if you're going to vote. But I think we have the power. We need to express ourselves in every way. We need to be very unapologetic about it. We do need young leaders, Pootie. We need people in positions that know what they're doing. We need people who know actually what to do. Because we're hearing plans, we're hearing promises, but there's no any form of implementation. And it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I don't even think it's plans. I think it's just like, I think this is what we have to say because we're in this position. So let's just say it and then we'll just do whatever the fuck we want. Do you know what I mean? I mean, somebody even tweeted me like, the problem is that our leaders are all old. And because I know I have a platform, I didn't tweet this. But in my head, I was just thinking like, yeah, maybe when they die, everything will be okay. But I didn't want to say that because I just thought to myself, like, damn, these are people's parents, grandparents, or whatever. So I don't want them to die. I don't think people deserve to die or whatever. But I don't think there's ever going to be any change in our country until like you see what happened in Lebanon right after the explosion, and the whole government was like, yo, we failed. Like everybody, like I think it has to be the same for us.
It's so frustrating, man, because you know we live in an amazing country. The problem is the people who are in these positions, like in power. That's the only flaw. And I think we need more young people. We need women in parliament. We need young people who will be able to implement change instead of just talking about it. You know, but I'm hopeful that in the future things will get better. You know.
I don't know if hopeful is the word for me, but I definitely want things to get better. I don't know if I have hope for things to get better. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. But I want things to get better. And I trust God. And I know God, like, wouldn't play me and us. I don't know. It's difficult because, like, people go through so much pain. And then it's like, where's your God now, Moozlie? And then it's like, Father, come on, give me a chance. Yeah, I'm doing my
But
best.
God also wants us to do something. We can't just pray and just hope for the best. So I think, you know, it's hard. It's hard having that platform and everybody expecting you to speak out. But I think you should be able to express your thoughts and be unapologetic about it. You know what I mean? Because it's rough for everyone. You know,
Yeah.
we in a country with like the highest unemployment rates, where it's bad. It's really bad. We might think we're going through it right now, but people are struggling out there. Like I'm from Kokas, and every time I go to my hood, dog, I break down. Like it kills me that I can't even do anything to help out, you know? So I think staying optimistic, yes. Speaking our minds, yes. Voting, let's do it. Hopefully something happens.
Yeah. I think also we just need to encourage these kinds of actual conversations a lot more. Because I feel like a lot of times we have very surface level conversations about politics, about gender-based violence, about real life issues, because it's too deep, it's heavy. It's just like, come on, we don't want to talk about that stuff. And it comes with a sense of responsibility as well. You know what I mean? Like you have to be responsible. You have to read things. You have to research. You have to actually, take the initiative to learn more things. And sometimes when you're just trying to figure out, like, you're not even trying to have those conversations, so it's difficult, man. It's difficult. And personally, like, other than Tandaza and Twana, I really don't know what to say to these kids anymore, because bayakhala, like, bayakhala, bayalamba, bayarejwa, bayabulalwa. Like, the youth of South Africa is really, 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 really just going through the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But things will get better. You're right. We need to spark these conversations. And talking about sparking conversations, you're surrounded by guys. Most of your friends are men. You're always around your engineer or your friends. So do you guys talk about these conversations, especially the gender-based violence topics? Do you spark those conversations with your boys?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's impossible to live in the world that we live in and not have those conversations. And I have some of my friends that are very conscious, they care, and they know it, and they want to do better. But then you just have those people who do that face, that face, that that one with the mouth, like, oh, this is just awkward. Like, we can't talk, like, this is just awkward. And also, I think for a lot of people, it just seems like a thing that happens over there. Like, la babantu labaya. I think maybe it'll just be one day, like, mhlawumbe if usibuda mina ngangibulala. Do you know what I mean? Then people will be like, wow, this is a real thing. It really happens or whatever. But because it's usually just someone you see on the timeline, or a situation like that, it does get difficult. And then there are times where I remember when the list came out of, and people came in industry or whatever, like people that I know personally, like Scoop, Speedstar, DJ Capital, Delays, like these are people that I know personally. And then it gets very weird, and it gets very uncomfortable, and it gets very difficult. But I can't shy away from the fact that it definitely makes us feel uncomfortable. And sometimes you even forget, and then you'll have a fan who'll just send you a DM and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you working with that person because they did ABC 1, 2, 3. So that's very difficult as well. I mean, even like if you think about it in the situation of like a Mampincha and the Babes, I was watching an interview where Babes was just like, yo, ningas like bega indaba zakho. Do you know what I mean? And I think in the industry in particular, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of like, I'ma just mind my business because that's my business. I'ma just keep it pushing. But I'm telling you, the more that it happens, the more difficult it is to not say anything. Like, it's impossible. It's impossible to not have these conversations. But yeah, I won't lie. It's not like we talk about it on group chats and stuff. No, definitely not. But I know, like, in my own personal circle, like with Spuda, obviously because Spuda is my boyfriend and we work together, we have to have these conversations. My engineer Lou, he's a really, really good guy. He's a really good guy. And he comes from KZN, so he's also a Zulu guy, so he has his opinions and things like that. But it's difficult, it's awkward, it's not easy. And you have to think about, okay, yes, these people are my friends or whatever, but are those people lying? Even though I don't know them. Do you know what I mean? And also, then what happens to all these people? Do we just desert them to an island? And listen to be on their own? Or do we have to help rehabilitate these people? Do we have to help them understand what is right, what is wrong? Because I feel like a lot of people are just like, yo, if you did this, cancelled. Like, cancel culture is like so weird. And I know, like, I can't even blame people for that, because if I've been raped, like, why am I still giving you a chance? You didn't give me a chance.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's really, really, really difficult. And then again, it's like, because I am a woman in this industry and I have a platform, I must speak out and I must not. But sometimes it's like, and it's not even just on this, like sometimes it's even on something like colorism, even on something like natural hair. Like, I just feel like there's always this level of wokeness that is required of people that have platforms. Like, I must know about colorism and whatever. I must know about African spirituality if I want to talk about God. And I must, like, I'm constantly forced to be at the highest level of ubungcwele ngcwele,
Yeah.
ukwazi, and it's just like, yo, I'm also just a black woman trying to stay alive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I won't lie, it's difficult. It's very, very awkward. But I will say that me and my friends do have this conversation. I mean, I remember even one day being at AKA's house and he was playing me a song. And the song was basically, it's like a dope song. And the song was like, the feeling is like this, you know? But the song was about like, if I'm making the money. So basically, it's just like, I'm the man, I'm making the money. So when I come home, you got to give me the honey, kind of a vibe, you know? And then it just went from a conversation about just that and gender roles and whatever to me standing on top of a man, like screaming at him, pointing at his face. It's like, one day you'll see, your sister will die and you'll see. Like, it just happens that quickly. And I literally realized that Sis would like, we're leaving right now. Like, right now, in this moment, we have to leave. We have to go because you don't understand. And now I'm losing my mind and I'm the only girl in the studio. And my heart is broken because I don't think people understand how easily and quickly these things can just happen. These things can just escalate. Like, you can go from how this song came to waking up in the morning being told that no, Usban Banu Shonil. It's like, and the thing is, people don't get it until it happens to them, you
That's
know?
the sad part.
So, yeah, I think I struggle sometimes because I can't. I mean, I speak very well, I'm very eloquent, I'm very articulate, but I know that pain of being a woman and going through those things. So I know sometimes just like a well recited speech and saying the right things at the right time doesn't work. Like, you know, it requires a little bit more. So I think about how I can use my platform a little bit better. But I'm just taking the time to understand this shit for myself.
Yeah.
Because it's
It's
really,
overwhelming.
yeah, it's overwhelming. It's very overwhelming.
Well, look.
Exactly. See, somebody even wrote a comment. Moozlie, we spool new music. Politics ain't for you, darling. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that happens. Like, you try to just.
Whatever you say will be
It's
criticized.
like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But ultimately, like, I just have to remember that I'm a black woman. And I don't want to say that comes with responsibilities because it's like, everybody has responsibilities, but I just feel like as a black woman, there's just always so much more. Like,
Yeah.
you get the least, but people expect the most from you.
Mm.
Like, like, I can never reconcile that in my brain. It's always such a mind fuck for me.
Okay. I think now we should talk about music because this is kind of depressing us, you know, because it's a lot. Whatever we do is judged, you know. But I think just be yourself and be unapologetic about it. It is what it is. You know, you're doing a really good job. So don't feel like you have to like be out there all the time. So do you? You're doing amazing, honestly.
Thank you.
Um. So what's next? What's gonna happen? I mean, we're on level 2 right now of lockdown. You know, I'm sure a couple of people are hitting you up. I can see that. I'm sure a lot of people are hitting you up. Are there any performances that you're planning or like what's next?
Yeah, I won't lie. I'm actually going to sit down with the team. Smuda Khadi, who does my PR and stuff, and then Dineo, who does our schedule, and we have to just sit down and discuss like what's going to happen, how we're going to attack this thing. Because also,
Yeah.
like, I'm also no Moozlie and I'm like, some days I'm just like, oh, I need labo. I'm not doing that. And then other days I'm like, mas patala, masambe. You
Yeah.
know? So it's a constant negotiation.
Mm.
We have to try new things, but what we are finding right now, sorry about that, what we're finding right now in the conversations that Smuda has been having with like our promoter friends, you know, people who are involved in venues and putting together lineups, is that it's very difficult for these people to justify booking an artist for between like 40 to 150,000 rand. It's like you're gonna come rock 50 people. It's different. It's not like a DJ. They can just come in, put the CDJs are there, stick those two USBs and rock. It's really,
Yeah.
really different for us. So we have to come up with a plan of what we're gonna do. But I know personally, I'm in no rush to go outside. I'm gonna let y'all go outside. Let me see what's happening out there at them day clubs. Let me see how things are
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah.
And then we'll get involved where we can. I think if it's like a really personal birthday party to 21st, you wanna hear izinja zakufatela, uyinja yami ngizofika ngoba uyangifatela and
Yeah.
uyangibhadala. So I can do those vibes, but I think it's gonna be just very different. Even just I'm so happy that I got my own microphone, because when I'm speaking into my microphone, the amount of
Yeah.
fucking saliva that is going into that thing, that I just don't think it's safe for us to share microphones anymore. It's just not
No.
safe. It's not safe out there, guys.
So
So
COVID, put you on a couple of
yeah.
tips.
But at the same time, on some days I also had that like, if we die, we die. There must
It
all
is
be
what it is.
it is what it is. So I am very keen and eager and super excited to get back to it, but yeah, I need to just keep it safe and make sure that everything is going to be okay. So
Yeah.
right now our plan is just really around getting whatever this project is that I'm doing. Want to get that done. Like, yes, last week we had Makwa come in and he left me 2 incredible beats. So we definitely want to do some more stuff with Lunatic, some more stuff with Zuchi. And then maybe we can wrap that up and see what we do with that. I've got a really, really exciting brand collaboration that I'm going to be announcing next month, which is like really dope. It's like playing on my business side of things, because when you know the brand and you know how they structure their deals, you know
Yeah.
that they don't fuck around. So
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited to be doing that. But like I said, asisaplani silandela uNkulunkulu.
Amen.
That's it.
Do you have any fashion related projects coming up?
I
Because I mean,
do
you
actually.
are like
Nothing.
you are the drip queen of essay, always
Yeah.
swag. I mean, we always taking notes like, what's going on? What's going
Yeah.
on? You know? So do you have anything lined up like in the fashion scene?
Um, Let me not jinx myself and
Mm-hmm.
not say too much. But we've started a process
Okay.
that's really exciting with somebody that I really, really respect and look up to.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had an idea of doing one thing, and this
Mm-hmm.
person whose advice I was seeking was like, nah, fuck that shit, do your own shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at, but it's really, really in the developmental stages.
Mm-hmm.
Where I don't think it's something that I should be like saying is a thing and that we can talk about. But I think for me, it is because I am Moozlie. I am that girl. People
Yeah.
have come to expect a certain standard of me. I definitely can't just throw my
Mm.
name on the t-shirts and call it a fashion line. You guys are definitely going to be
No,
like,
never. Mm-mm.
like, nah, Moozlie, don't play us, you know? So when I do it, I want it to be meaningful, I want it to be impactful, and I want it to be able to add to my legacy like we did with the S&M edition. I actually did a which is really dope. And I got a royalty on that, which was really dope because, I mean, I couldn't believe in people like AKA were not getting royalties from brands like Reebok. Like, how is a little shoe company from South Africa doing more than Reebok? Like, what the
I
fuck?
was so confused by that, my sister. I was just in utter confusement. You understand? But you know,
Yeah, so yeah, for me, I really want to take the fashion thing slow and seriously because I just feel like when I do it, I'm going to be like Rihanna and never sing again. Because
no,
it'll be so dope. Like, it'll be
eh,
so dope. Like,
no, no,
it'll be
no,
so dope.
no. Okay, we're not talking about this anymore. We're moving on. So wait, are we gonna see on our screens anytime soon?
Um, I mean, I'm always on TV. Like, I'm always on TV doing my thing, whether it's like appearing on a show, performing on a show, or whatever. So you'll always see me on TV. But earlier on in the year, I was definitely feeling like there isn't a single show on TV that I see myself presenting. And there really isn't. I mean, you watch TV?
Girl, I do, but I feel like the industry is quite stagnant at the moment. Things are just like the same as they were 10 years ago. We don't really have like a breath of fresh air on.
Yeah,
You think
like we
so?
don't really have that thing. Yeah, I don't think so. Even like the actual content, it's just like so
Man.
boring. Like I would even remember sometimes when I would do the entertainment, like let's say we're doing the entertainment and then Tumi is the guest. I'm like, oh, Tumi, I know Tumi. I've worked with Tumi. You know what I mean? Tumi's my person. I was just talking to her yesterday. Tumi's my person. And then on the card, they'll say, well, Tumi was doing an Instagram live where she was wearing a green jacket. And then I'm sitting there like, nah, it's an orange jacket. Like I was there, I was talking to her. It's an orange jacket. I was like, no, this is for the TV. So I struggle because of the fact that I love to express myself. I feel like the work that I do, especially within hip hop culture, is so important that I want to express
Yeah.
myself honestly. So just kind of those confines of television can be a little bit difficult for me. But I went to do Kyle Tetwa has this show on SABC1 called Gospel Avenue. And
Yeah,
I was
boy.
a guest presenter on that show. Girl, I could do that show. Like,
Girl, and I see that. I saw you there. I saw you there. And a lot of people, I think, were really shocked to see you on the show because, as much as like I follow you, I've met you a couple of times. I know you take your faith seriously. I know you go to church. I know even people around you, you about Jesus, which is really beautiful. But a lot of people wouldn't really put no Moozlie and gospel together. You know what I mean? So it was a fresh thing. I saw that. I was like, that's really
yeah,
dope.
but I honestly really, really enjoyed it. It also just came at a beautiful time in my life where I was like just going through the most. And I
Yeah,
just needed to go to church, and church has been closed because of Corona. So
yeah,
that honestly felt like church. It was so, so amazing. I loved it. And I think I also was just reminded of the fact that like God is real in whatever
mm,
way you see him. Do you know what I mean? And he uses unqualified things. This is something we were saying the whole shoot is like God uses unqualified people to do amazing things all the time. And we get
amen.
so hard on ourselves. We feel so under, like, we just feel like, yo, I'm not there. When you see people who are doing it, you just like, oh, ha, I'll never be there. Yo, ngizofika njani kuleyo level. And it's
Mm,
like, actually, you're perfect. You're the one that needs to be used. And that's why I thought adding my voice to something like that would be great because I'm really not looking for like a TV job where I just walk in, read the auto cue, and leave. Like, I
yeah,
really want to immerse myself in the conversation, in the script, and also just watch it. Like, I remember I just got to a point where I wasn't even watching the entertainment anymore. It was just a thing that I did on a Wednesday. Like, wake
Yeah.
up, go shoot, continue with my day. When Friday came along, I wouldn't even watch it, which for me is very sad because I'm so obsessed with myself. I think I'm so dope. So the fact that I was just not into it on that level really, really hurt me. And I promised myself, like, I'm not going to do that to myself again. I think also, I mean, some people have been doing this for a very, very long time. But other people who are getting like good TV jobs haven't been doing it as long as I've been doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I trust myself. I think I'm an incredible presenter. I think I'm really, really good. Like just in terms of not even just culture and knowing artists and being able to have those dope conversations with them. I think technically
Yeah.
I'm really, really good as well. And I think that's something that the dawn of the internet and YouTubers and all of this thing has kind of taken away from the television industry. And that's why
Yeah.
people think like, oh, what? I can do this. I can totally go do it. It's like, yeah, that's fine. But then when you're on set next to Scoop, are you going to be able to kill the link? If you have to host a show with Bonang, are you going to be able to kill
And there's
the
a million
link?
people looking at you. But honestly, you've been doing amazing. I feel like everything you have touched, you kill. You know what I mean? Like you were made for this. Like this is not just a mistake or what. You were made for this. Everything you do is just exceptional. And yeah, I can't wait to see what's next. Your next
Thank
chapter
you.
in life. Yeah, I'm very excited to see what you're working on. Hopefully, you drop something before the end of the year. Give
Yeah.
us something,
I'd really like to. Honestly, if it was just up to me, like literally, like only up to me, myself, only me. Which I think sometimes, like, I mean, ultimately it is. Like, ultimately, I'm the boss of Moozlie Pen Music, so I can decide, you know what, we're dropping this project tomorrow. But at the same time, I have people on my team because they enhance me. So I have to consider what it is that they have to say.
Yeah.
And so we are, I think we're this close. Like we're this close. Like I think if I can record like 3 more songs that I'm like happy with, because recording is easy, but like when you have a song that's done top to bottom, then I can take all the other songs that I have and then we can select and then we can do what it does. But the people that I've played the music for so far always just like, okay, shit, y'all really been grinding out here, So
Yeah.
the music is definitely coming for sure.
Any upcoming artists that you're currently working on with?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it also just depends on what your definition of upcoming is. Like, me and Rouge getting on Tumi Matha's record, I think me and Rouge in the moments we just thought like, Rouge and Moozlie is that combo.
Yeah.
But just being able to amplify Tumi Matha's voice and what the song has gone on to do. I mean, we just made #1 on the 5FM hip hop charts, which is a
Yeah.
first for him. And I'm really, really excited that we're able to be a part of that. So Tumi Matha is one of them. I did a song with a guy called Eli through a producer called Craig Creates that I met through Champagne 69. So this is like very, very new wave. I never even met Eli before I jumped on the track. And I think 2 weeks ago, I met him on Instagram Live like this. Turns out the dude is in matric. Which
Wow.
is like really, really crazy. Like, I don't know, I need to pull up on him at school and see if it's for real. But yeah, he's in matric. I've done something with Indigo Stella, which I probably should stop talking about and just allow her to do her thing.
Yeah.
I'm working on something
No,
with Jay
I'm sorry.
Little.
I'm sorry. We don't have time. It's a
Oh, but yeah, I got the
couple.
kids, girl. I'm working with the kids. Yeah, I got the
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah. It's going to do that. It's going to cut us in any moment from now. But thank you so much for agreeing to do this. It's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is dope.
This was really dope. Thank you so
I
much.
enjoyed it.
All right.
It was
Enjoy
dope.
your day.
Real.
I'm right now.
I will. Cheers, guys.